it's not just hyperbole. We can look at the data. Look at what happened to Target and Bud Light this summer when they decided to lecture Americans about progressive politics and all of a sudden became mouthpieces of the regime. The consumers took their dollars elsewhere and their economic thrones were dismantled. That's the power of the American wallet. If consumers will realize that profit centers guide everything in this country, if you want to know how a decision is made, politically or economically, look at who profits. So our thesis is simple. What if you could have we the people profit again? That happens in two stages. Number one, you have to recognize that what you spend your money on is what you empower. And so if you continue to prop up their corrupted economic institution, which funds their political regime, we are empowering that political regime to continue. So number one, you got to get your money away. You got to unsubscribe from that corrupted institution. And then number two, you got to move your money elsewhere. It was one thing to simply boycott Anheuser-Busch. It's another thing to take your money elsewhere. This summer, when Bud Light did what they did, or back in the spring, the next day we saw an 800% increase in searches for beer on our platform at publicsq.com. This was a great sign for me because it showed that not only were Americans saying, hey, we're done with Bud Light, you try to lecture us about gender and you try to mock your brand, you call us fratty and outdated, fine. We'll not only boycott you, we'll take our money elsewhere. And in turn, 26% drop in sales from last year. Global uproar. They're no longer the top selling American beer. Then you see the same thing happen with Target. Target decides to lecture your children about sexual indoctrination and gender dysphoria and all this nonsense with tucking underwear and swimsuits and all these things. What happens? Well, the American consumers, especially led by the mama bears, shout out to the mom audience. They make over 70% of daily purchases for the household. They moved their purchases elsewhere. And in turn, Target stock was downgraded twice. They had their first quarterly earnings miss in 6 years. And interestingly enough, Jack, the last time they had their quarterly earnings miss 6 years ago, the bathroom issue. So they clearly haven't learned their lesson. And the American people spoke loud and clear with their wallets.